Well, hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Church on the Move. Great to see you guys this weekend. I want to do a couple of quick shout-outs kind of before we jump into the rest of our message. The first shout-out is to my son's sixth grade football team who came up just short yesterday against Berry Hill, but they were the runners-up in their division, in their league. Want to give them a little shout-out. They had a great season. Yeah, you can give them a round of applause. Had an awesome season, came up just short. I wasn't able to be here. In fact, if you were in the service last night or around it all yesterday, you may have noticed that I wasn't here. I actually recorded my message for Saturday on Friday with a group of staff here so we could have like a little mini audience. Recorded that so that I could go to my son's football game yesterday. I got a great kind of legacy from my dad, and that is that the church is important, but your family is more important. And so yesterday, anyways, I was not here. And was able to teach via video. It was really cool. Anyway, so that may be happening more and more in my life as just things kind of get busier. With 5 kids, I may not even be here at all on the weekend in the future. So, hey, one other shout out is for our also for our Lincoln High School football team, who are district champs. It's awesome. And if you weren't at the game on Friday night, you missed a heck of a game. What an amazing atmosphere out at Berry Hill. It was just so cool, and they hung on to win. And it was just a great, great game, great night. So anyways, congratulations to our high school football team, and we wish them the best of luck going forward in the playoffs. We're excited to cheer for you guys. Hey, well, today we're starting a brand new series, and just want to say great to have all of you guys watching out at Glenpool, everybody watching online. Hope that you guys are having a great weekend, because we're starting off this series called My Unforgettable Life. And if you've not been to Church on the Move in a while, or maybe you've not been in church for a while and you're kind of wondering, what is a series? Well, a series is when we kind of pick a topic or a theme and we talk about it for a set number of weeks. And we're going to be talking about this idea of what is it that makes an unforgettable life over the next 3 weeks. In fact, today what I want to do is just ask a couple of tough questions, kind of ask some questions that make us think a little bit, hopefully challenge you a little bit, maybe even convict you a little bit. And then what we're going to do is kind of take the second half of the message and just look at some things that we can do about some of the questions that we're going to raise here in the first part of the message. Now, let me kind of explain how this got going for me. A few weeks back, I was reading through the Gospels. In fact, I was reading through the Gospel of John, and I came to the very close of the Gospel of John, and I came across a couple of verses that just got me to thinking a little bit. The first verse is the second to last verse at the end of the Gospel of John. It says this is what John says. He said, "This is the disciple who testifies to these things." So John's Gospel is his eyewitness account. If you've ever read through the Bible before, maybe you're kind of familiar. There's the Old Testament, which is, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and so forth. And the New Testament begins with the Gospels. The Gospels are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And what those are eyewitness accounts of the life of Jesus. When you and I hear the word gospel, we automatically think, church term, religious term. But a gospel wasn't necessarily, in Jesus' day, wasn't like a religious term. A gospel simply meant good news, something that had happened on your behalf. So there were gospels of all kinds of things. For instance, maybe you lived in a city and your city had been enslaved by another people. And so the king who your allegiance was to, he would go and he would fight this group of people who were enslaving you, and they would win, and then they would send heralds back into the city that you live in, and they would deliver a gospel, the good news. And the good news would be, hey, a great battle has been won on your behalf, and you're free. You're free from what had been enslaving you. That's what a gospel was. A gospel was just good news. So these good news that are the gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the accounts, they're the eyewitness accounts of Jesus' life. This is what they saw and witnessed. In fact, this gospel, most scholars believe that John's gospel was written somewhere around 30 to 40 years after the events of the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. And so this is what John's saying. He said, this is the disciple who testifies to these things and who wrote them down. He's saying, I wrote this stuff. I saw this stuff. I witnessed it, and I wrote it down. And then he says, and we know that his testimony is true. Now, what is that about? Well, again, if he wrote this stuff 30 to 40 years after the events of the resurrection, or the crucifixion and the resurrection, then there were people who were still alive. Some of the stories that you read about in the Gospel of John, there were people at that time who were still alive. And what John is saying, he's saying, look, you can ask people. This is true. I wrote it down. I put their names in here. And if you want to go talk to them, you can. You can go interview them. You can go ask them if it happened like what I said it did. And so that's what he's saying here. And then he comes to the last verse, and it's this interesting verse as he kind of closes out the last thing that he's saying in the book of John, or the Gospel of John. It says this, and there are also many other things that Jesus did, which, if they were to be written one by one, I suppose not even the world itself could contain the books that would be written. I think this is a fascinating verse. It's kind of, I don't know, for me it's an interesting verse because it's kind of poetic. And a lot of the rest of the Gospel of John, or really much of the Bible, is not, no, there's a lot of poetry in the Bible, but there's a lot of it that's not. And this is this interesting, in fact, this feels like it was almost written by like C.S. Lewis or something. I suppose that not even the world itself could contain the books that would be written if we were to write down everything that Jesus did. It got me to thinking. I started thinking about that. I thought, wow, think of the impact that Jesus had. I mean, this sounds like poetry. It sounds like hyperbole. You know, if we were to write down everything, the world couldn't even contain the books. But when you think about it, and when you think about the impact that Jesus had, it starts to kind of make sense. I mean, think about this. We know only about 3 years of the life of Christ. We know a little bit about his birth. That's what we know. We know very little about his childhood. In fact, we know almost nothing about his childhood. In fact, from the time that he was 12, we know something about when he was 12 years old, that he got lost at the temple. You've heard that story. Or he didn't get lost, but his parents lost him. I'll say it that way. And then we pick his life back up again when he's 30 years old and he's beginning his ministry. So there's this huge gap in his life that we know nothing about. His ministry lasted for about 3.5 years, and then that's it. That's all we know of him. 3 years of someone's life, 3 years. And you think about it. And today, millions of people this weekend will gather all over our planet to talk about this guy, to worship this guy, to learn more about this guy. People will gather all over the place. People quote Jesus. We divide our time on the calendar by Jesus. Do you know that? BC and AD. BC stands for before Christ. AD means, it's a Latin term, Anno Domini, which basically means from the time that Jesus set foot on earth. When they think that Jesus set foot on earth, that's when they started measuring forward. That's what that means. We divide our calendar by the life of this one person. Think about it. We're about to enter the single largest holiday of our entire year, coming up real soon with Christmas. And what are we celebrating? We're celebrating the birth of Christ. People who don't even believe that he is who he said he was still pause and celebrate around this time of year just because the guy was born. You may not believe that he was, the Son of God. You may have issues about, well, was he really raised from the dead? You may have questions about some of that stuff. But one thing you cannot deny is that he's had an immeasurable impact on our world, that people still talk about him. People still know about him. I mean, if I say Jesus, nobody, almost anywhere on earth goes, who? Everybody knows who you're talking about when you say Jesus. He's had a huge, huge impact. And so John's saying, look, if I was to write down everything, the world wouldn't be able to contain the books. So I got to thinking. And I thought, okay, that's Jesus. Let's set him aside for just a second. That his life could fill all the books in the whole world, could fill every book that was ever written. That's him. What about me? What if you were to take the events of my life? What if you were to take the last 38 years of my life and I was to ask you and all of my closest friends to write down what they knew of me, the impact that I had made in their lives? And I started thinking about it. What would it fill? Could I fill a book? Maybe a brochure? What could I fill? I mean, if you were to write down everything in my life, what would you have left over? What would there be? What would there be to show for it? I ask you the same question. What would there be if we were to take the events of your life? Because here's kind of what happens. We get so busy just sort of surviving in life, don't we? Just like I gotta pay the bills. I gotta make it to the next practice. I gotta make it through the next day. We just get so busy, kind of head down, focused on what's happening right in front of us that we don't really think about what's happening around us or the impact that we're making on the people around us who are close to us and those who are not close to us. What kind of ripple is being left here? What are we making of our life? What's happening around us? What impact are we making? And so I started to think about it, just kind of on a personal level. And I thought, okay, so when people bump into me, when people meet me, when people kind of have an interaction with me, maybe it's a friend or maybe it's somebody, that I'm bumping into out when I'm getting lunch or whatever, I have an interaction with someone. What is it that they're left with? What is it that they remember about me? What is it that they're struck by? You know what I came to the conclusion? He's tall. I'm 6'5", if you didn't know. If I haven't had a chance to meet you yet, I'm 6'5.5". That'll save you from having to ask me, because everyone always asks me when they meet me, hey, how tall are you? Let me just say this too. Everywhere I go, and when I meet people, they always, wow, you're tall. Can I just be honest with you? I have no idea how to respond to that. Because it's not really a compliment, at least that I can tell. Like, I can't say thank you because I didn't really do anything to get this way. It just sort of is. So I'm not really sure what to say. But everywhere I go, this is people, there are kids, literally, I walk by children and they gasp, Mom, look at how tall he is. So uncomfortable. I guess it's better than Mom, look at how short he is. I don't know. Just the other day I was getting my hair cut and there was a guy walks up to me in the hair salon. It's like, wow, you're tall, I'm tall. Let's do like a back-to-back thing right here in the... No, not necessary. It's not that big of a deal. This is what I'm known for, is that I'm tall. I suppose that's cool. I suppose that's fine. But, I mean, is that it? Is that really what I want to be known for? When I come to the end of my life, when it's all over, when I'm done, or if I was to disappear tomorrow, do I want my neighbors to just say, yeah, the tall guy's not there anymore? What is it that they would say about you? And then I started kind of opening the question up a little bit more. I started thinking, okay, not just me. Okay, let's open this up a little bit more. What if I was to ask the same question about our church? What do people think about when they think about church on the move? You know, when they see that bumper sticker on the back of your car, everybody's got those bumper stickers on the back of their car with the logo, and they walk up there and they say, oh, church on the move, and so now they know what that sticker means and all that, and they're like, oh yeah, church on the move. Or when church on the move comes up in a conversation, what is it that people think about when they hear the words church on the move? You know what I hear over and over again? You know what I hear? It's big. It's big. There's nothing wrong with being a big church. I think that's great that we're a big church. I love it that we're a big church, but I mean, is that it? Is that really what we want to be known for? Just that we were big? And guys, let's be honest. We live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where there are Christians everywhere. It's a great thing that we've got a big church, but there's a lot of people around here who call themselves Christians. I mean, from here to I used to live right over down on 51st Street, about 145th. I used to live in that area. And on my drive home, there was a route that I could take home where I would pass something like 11 churches between here and there, 5 miles, 11 churches. It's unbelievable how many churches that there are in this area. It's not that big of a deal to have a big church. Is this all we want to be known for? Is just simply being big? And then I decided to just broaden it out even further and ask this question. Okay, what is it that people are struck by when they hear the word Christian? When you say, I'm a Christian, what do people think? What do people know about us collectively, not just this church, but worldwide, what do people think about when they think about Christians? I happened to run into a blog this week where a guy had done kind of just a little sort of off-the-cuff research project. He went to Google and he typed in this question: why are Christians so fill in the blank? And he just started it. Now, if you've ever used Google, then you know that Google has this little predictive thing that it does where it kind of tries to predict how you're gonna finish the sentence. And so you type this in, why are Christians so, and it gives you a list of options that are there. And by the way, these are ranked in terms of just popularity according to what most people have searched. This is not like, Google's preference of what they want to put in this blank here. So it's just what people have searched. And do you know what comes back? Several things. None of them are good. Why are Christians so judgmental? Why are Christians so ignorant? That's fun. Why are Christians so hateful? Why are Christians so intolerant? Why are Christians so mean? Why are Christians so narrow-minded? Why are Christians so hypocritical? Some of you may not have been in church for a long time. Maybe it's because of some of the things on this list. Maybe you grew up in a Christian home. Maybe you were around Christian parents who, tried to play it off to everybody around them that they had everything together, that their lives were all good, that their lives were just perfect, but you knew the kind of the backstory. You knew what was happening at your house, what was happening in your home, and you just kind of decided that as soon as you got old enough, you were done with this thing. You didn't want anything to do with it because you saw how fake it was. You wanted nothing to do with it. We have people who have experienced all of this. Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, who is the co-founder of Apple, this is what he said. He said, the juice goes out of Christianity when it becomes too based on faith rather than on living like Jesus or seeing the world as Jesus saw it. It's interesting. Most people today still have a pretty good view of Jesus. It's interesting. They may not want to talk about him for fear of offending people, but if you ask him, what do you think of Jesus? A lot of people feel like he was a great guy, a great prophet, had some great things to say. A lot of people have respect for Jesus, but when it comes to Christians, it's like there's a disconnect. And the way I see it, we have three options. We can deny it, we can ignore it, or we can do something about it. And my heart for Church on the Move, here at Tulsa, out at Glenpool, even those watching online, is that we would do something about it. That's our intention. That's what we're going to do, and that's what this series is all about. Because it's not enough just to be a big church. We want to be a big church that makes a big impact. And here's how. Yeah. Here's how we do that. Jesus laid it out for us so clearly. He said, you want to know what you need to be known by? In fact, he painted it so clear. This is what you're going to be known by. Look at what Jesus said in John 13. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples. By this is the determining factor. Here's how you'll know. If you want everybody to know that you're with me, you want people to know, yeah, those people were with Jesus, you want to know how they're going to know? Here's how. If you have love for one another. Jesus said people will know us not necessarily for what we believe. People will know us not necessarily for our faith. People should know us for our love. That's what we want to be known for as a church. We want to be known as a church who loves people because we serve a God who loves people. We were loved by God so much that he sent his son into our mess to save us. Now we're going to go into other people's mess and we're going to bring the light and the love of Christ to save them. That's who we want to be as a church. That's who we are. We want to share the love of Jesus, and that's what having an unforgettable life is all about. It's about how much of yourself do you give away, because at the end of your life, that's what people remember. What you gave away, not what you hoarded to yourself, not what you accumulated, not what you amassed, but what you gave away is what is remembered at the end of your life. If you want to have an unforgettable life, and if you want to make an impact on the people around you, you want to make an impact on your kids, how much of your life is given away? That's what we want to do. We want to be not just a big church, but a big church that makes a big impact and a big difference. So here's what we're going to do. Over the next 3 weeks, we're starting a little bit of an initiative. It's to love, to serve, and to give. Last year, around this time of year, my wife and I started talking about kind of where our kids were at as we were kind of coming towards Christmas. We'd noticed that our kids are just kind of getting the catalogs. I don't know, they understand how this works. They know the game they're playing. They start magically, all the toy catalogs just start showing up round about this time of year. Isn't that crazy? They start showing up, and so my kids are going through these catalogs. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. It's cool. We love Christmas presents. We do Christmas big, and we love that kind of thing. But as a family, we just started thinking, is this what we want our kids to know Christmas for? It's just that it's Christmas, I get stuff. Is that what Christmas is all about? Really, is this what we want? And so my wife came up with this plan. I thought it was brilliant. She just called it 12 Days of Kindness, kind of naming it after the 12 days of Christmas. And what she did was she just said, we're going to take 12 days and we're going to do 12 things that are just serving our community. She went out, they grabbed the trash cans for a lot of people in our neighborhood and walked them back into their house. Just a simple thing that we could do with our kids, but just a way to serve our neighbors. We bought our mail person, our mail lady in our case, we bought her lunch, gave her a gift card and a thank you card, left it in our mailbox just as a way of saying thank you for what you do. Bought our trash guys, just got them some gift cards, wrote them some thank you notes, just to say thank you. Went and served at a food bank. They sung at a nursing home. Just simple stuff. Nothing that has to cost a lot of money, but just simple stuff to where we could kind of get outside of ourselves and show our kids that Christmas is about more than just what we get, but it's about what we can give. And so we did that last year. It was amazing, and I love that my wife did that with her family. And so as we kind of came up to this year, I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could kind of do that with our whole church? So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to do 12 days of kindness. We're just going to do the rest of November. We're just going to give, and show our community how much we love them. And so this is the initiative's kind of broken it down into 3 categories: love, serve, and give. Here's how we're going to love, first of all. We're going to love by serving at the Christmas train. Here's what's cool. Every year, you guys, we have over 50,000 people that come and hear the story of Christ. Do you know what can impact them as much as anything while they ride the train? You know? How you treat them. There are over 300 volunteers it takes to run the Christmas train a night. And there are many of you that have never served out there, and you've not even given it a second thought. You don't really know what it's all about. It's not that big of a deal to you. I just want to say, guys, 60,000 people in this local area, how are you not involved in the Christmas train? It's more than just passing out, cups of coffee and serving pie and the different things that we do out there. We're showing people the love of Christ. If you have never served at Christmas Train before, I am after you today. I'm after you to sign up and be a part of this, and we've made it as easy as possible this year. In fact, we've tried to take away as many hang-ups as people would have. We will pay for your babysitter if you will come serve, but we want you out there sharing the love of Christ and loving on people. So here's what we're going to do. We're moving all of our Christmas Train sign-up to online. Now here's why we're doing that. By the way, will you go back one slide real quick? One slide. I want to call this web address out. Thank you. Go to christmastrain.com/volunteer. Let me say it again. christmastrain.com/volunteer. Here's why we're doing it online. It's not because we hate paper or we think that online is cooler than paper. For those of you who are like, I liked writing it down by hand. I barely understand how to turn my computer on, let alone find a website. Get a young person to help you or go out to the red room. We will help you through this. We need your help. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. And the reason that we're doing it like this is because it's more efficient and it allows people to sign up in groups. This is a huge deal. Many people don't serve because they don't want to go all the way out there and go, I don't know anybody, and I don't want to stand out there by myself. So they want to go with their friends. We want to be able to allow this to happen. House-to-house groups serving together, sections, communities serving together. That's what this is about. So here you go. When you come to the page, this is exactly what it will look like. There's a lot of FAQ questions down there. You can get your questions answered, stuff like that. And then right over here on the left, we've got these 2 white arrows so you can't miss it. It says sign up today to volunteer or group sign up. These are the big versions of the buttons so you can see exactly what they look like. Once you click one of those, here's where you're going to go. You go to a page that looks just like this. It's basically, for those of you having trouble seeing it, it's a place where you can enter your first name, last name, email address, just basic information. If you already have a Move account, it can all be filtered in there really easily. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come to a spot where you get to select where you want to serve. And here's what we're doing this year. It says, help me find a position to serve. And a lot of you are just like, I would serve. I have no idea where to serve. And so because in the past we've kind of forced you to choose, I think it's been a little bit of death by choice, just too many options. I don't even know where to go. Somebody just tell me where you need help and I'll serve there. So we want to help you find a position if you don't know where you want to serve already. Or you could say, hey, I know what general area I want to serve in. I don't know specifically where I want to serve, but just this area would be nice. Or you could say, I know what specific position I want to serve in. For all of those of you who want to be the wagon loaders, which is like sold out. Like if you want to be a wagon loader, you got to get on the list like years in advance to be able to do that one. Because there's a lot of food, good food involved with being a wagon loader, I hear. So anyway, that's for the larger guys in our church. Anyway, they'll beat you up if you try to take their space. So that's how you serve. Now, we need you to do this ASAP. Guys, Christmas Train is literally just a couple of weeks away. Next weekend, next Sunday, a week from today, at 6 p.m., right here in this auditorium, we're doing a Christmas Train rally where we're going to fill you up with vision and then train you for the position that you're going to serve in. And some of you are thinking, hey, hang on a second. I already know how to do what I do. I'm not coming to this. Hey, in years past, I would have said, yeah, you don't need to come. But this year, I want you to come. And here's the reason. Because we talk a lot about what you're going to do at Christmas Train. We've been good at that. We have not been good at telling you why you're going to be doing what you're doing at Christmas Train. So when you come next Sunday night, we want to tell you why. We want to share with you some stories of people whose lives have been changed so that when you show up, you're on fire. You're ready to serve and love people like never before. So next Sunday at 6, we need you to get online and fill this out. So I'm calling on Church on the Move at Glenpool online in Mass. You want to serve? Get online and get that done this week for us. It's not limited by next weekend, but we would sure love to know that you're coming so that, we don't go into panic mode like sound the alarm, we have no one serving kind of a thing. And Church on the Move is just known for waiting to the very last minute. We know that about you. So anyway, help us out with that, please. Okay. Hopefully my voice holds out to the end. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, if you have questions, you can go to volunteer@christmastrain.com, okay? The next thing that we're going to do, love, give, serve. Secondly, serve. We're going to have sections serving opportunities. And right now, if you're a section leader, I want you to jump up. These cards, you're going to pass these out. These are our section serving cards. You're getting these at Glenpool as well. Every one of our sections is having a section serving opportunity. And our section leaders have been working for a while to strategically craft your section's serving opportunity. We want to give you guys a chance to get out and serve our community outside the walls and boundaries of our church. And we're doing some really, really cool stuff. If you're out at Glenpool, here's one of the cool things that's happening. All of our sections at Glenpool are kind of teaming up to help serve the Glenpool Elementary School. We're going to go in there and serve their school. A lot of our sections, in fact, are going to be serving local schools in need. There are a lot of schools right under our nose, you guys, that have big needs, and we can help serve some of those needs. So we're super excited about that. Let me give you just a little bit of a rundown of kind of what's happening here at the Tulsa campus in this auditorium. If you're in section, let's see, it doesn't say. Where's Paul and Whitney Warren? Where are you guys at? I think they're over here. Okay, their section is doing, this is section 1. Okay, yeah, section 1 is doing a toy drive for Tulsa Casa. This is for kids in need. So if you're over here in section 1, you can participate in a toy drive. How great is that? Let's see, we've got John and Abby Lehman in section 5. Where's section 5 at? Where's John and Abby? Over here, on this side, way over here. Okay, they're doing nursing home decoration and shoe boxes for kids overseas. How great is that? I think that's fabulous. We're doing some great things. A lot of school stuff. Let's see here. Right here, the section in front of me is doing a school project. They're providing supplies for teachers' classrooms. So guys, we want to make an impact in our local community and what's happening around us. So you got this card, and here's what can happen on this card. Is the explanation for how you can get connected to your section and serve with your section. You may say, I'm not into this whole sections thing, I don't really care. Hey, these are people who need your help. You don't have to love the people you sit around to serve some of the people in your community. And you know what may happen is you may find that you sit by some pretty wonderful people. If you would just do a little bit of serving with them, you might get to know some of the people around you. This is so cool. Okay, so check this out. Get involved in this. Really great thing. Lastly, love, serve, give. We want to give to some local and international charities. There are organizations right here in the Tulsa area. There are organizations overseas who are doing some amazing things, and we want to partner with them financially. We want to help them do what it is that they do. So let me tell you locally what we're going to do first. We're going to give to Crisis Pregnancy Outreach. This is a 100% volunteer-run organization. They help women in need who find themselves pregnant with no family, with no help, not sure of what to do with the baby. These people take care of these women. They counsel them through this. They help them through a difficult transition, and they love on them. They share the love of Christ with them. We want to support them. We've done this before. We've worked with them before. But our donations go to help fund their ongoing operation. Again, remember, this is a 100% volunteer-run organization. So when we give, we make what they do possible. And those of you out at Glenpool, the CPO is located out near Glenpool. So there's some additional stuff that you guys are going to get to do out there in serving with these guys. So we're really excited about that. The next one is Laura Dester Children's Center. And by the way, if you look on the back side of your sections card, you can see all these different giving opportunities. They're on there. The Laura Dester Children's Center provides a home for kids whose parents are maybe under investigation for abuse or neglect. So this is a horrible situation. A kid, his parents are under investigation. He's about to go, or she's about to go into the foster care system, and the first place they go is the Laura Dester Children's Center. We want to make sure that that first stop and a really difficult transition for some young kids is as wonderful as it can be. It's not a great situation, but we want to provide as much as we can to make that first stop just a place where kids begin the process of recovery and begin feeling like they're loved and cared for. We can be a part of that. That's the Laura Dester Children's Center. The Community Food Bank of Eastern Oklahoma, they provide meals to 335,000 meals they've provided to people who are dealing with, they're hungry in our area. Jesus had a lot to say about feeding the hungry. So when we give, we can make part of this possible. We get to partner with them. Here's another one, Stand in the Gap. This one's great. These guys provide Christian mentors to people who are going through a difficult transition, coming out of prison, or maybe dealing with a substance abuse issue, coming kind of through substance abuse and need some Christian mentoring in their life. That's what Stand in the Gap does. We can help fund their operation. We can make a big impact with this right here. And then lastly, and perhaps my favorite one, Cooper Elementary School. Especially for those of you here in our Tulsa location. Cooper Elementary School is less than 3 miles from where you and I are sitting right now. Guys, they don't have a box of crayons in their entire school. No art supplies. Their basketball courts are falling apart, not really usable. They want to do a garden and a walking path for their students. They don't really have the resources to be able to pull this off. But guess what? We do. Many of you are going to be able to serve at Cooper, but we want to give to this school. It's very underfunded. Again, it's just 3 miles from here, and we can make a difference. And here's what I would pray. I would pray that there would be kids who maybe before had driven by our church with their parents because it's only 3 miles from here. No doubt they've been by here. Maybe they've wondered, what is that building? What's that big place over there? What is that? Or maybe they knew that it was a big church, but they knew nothing about us other than that we're big. I would hope that after this, they would start to say, you know what, there's some people in there, it's not only a big church, but there's some people in there with some big hearts, and they care about me. We're going to make a big impact at Cooper Elementary School. I can hardly wait to see what we're going to do over there. It's going to be great. Okay, then there's some international outreaches that we want to partner with. The first is Tree of Life. They have an orphanage in Honduras, and they provide education and training, but their orphanage is overcrowded, and the rooms are so small, they have no ventilation as well, and it's really hot. So we are going to help them renovate their rooms and have a better experience for the kids that they're serving and mentoring and leading there in Honduras. So we want to partner with them. The next organization is Global Messengers. This is crazy, heartbreaking, you guys. In India, Global Messenger is Jack and Sherry Harris. They're such great friends of our church, been here around here for years. We love them. They're doing a deal in India where they are rescuing baby girls from dumpsters because their parents don't want them. They're literally pulling babies from dumpsters and taking them into homes and raising them. How cool is that? And many of these girls now, they're getting old enough to where they start to be able to give back to society. And so some of these girls who've been pulled out of a dumpster that society said, we don't want you anymore, are going back into society. They're becoming nurses and teachers. They're serving the very people who said, we don't want you. This is an amazing thing. We get to be a part of this. Camino de Vida, of course, we talk about them a lot. This is our friends in Peru. They have a great church in Peru. They're launching another campus there in Lima. Lima is about 10 million people plus. The road systems are not that great in Lima, so just getting around is very difficult. So for them, having multiple locations is a big deal. They want to launch a new location, and we want to help them raise the money for all of their audio-visual equipment. That's something that we excel at as a church. We're going to help them with that. So that's cool. And then next year, many of you who are going to go to Peru, you're going to serve and help launch this church. So you're not only going to be able to contribute to this church financially, but you can give of your time as well. You can go there and actually launch a church. How cool is that? We're going to do that next year. We're really excited about it. But we're going to give to it now. And then we've got Protas Anyango. Protas is from Kenya. He lives here in the States now, but he does an amazing thing. In his town of about 8,100 people, it has been ravaged by HIV/AIDS. There are 600 orphans in a town of about 8,000. Can you imagine that? 600 orphans, just kids with no parents, no grandparents, no one to raise them because of the AIDS epidemic that has swept through. They live in extreme poverty, and the only way out for these kids is through their education. The trouble is they have to work, and it gets dark, and they cannot study. And so what Protas does, this is so cool, he gives them a solar-powered light that lasts for 3 hours every night. It costs $30 for one of these lights. He gives it to these kids, and guys, it's amazing. I was told that he gives this out 18-year-old young African men, tears streaming down their face because someone gave them a light. Can you imagine that? A light is your way out of extreme poverty. We want to give light to a lot of hurting Kenyans this Christmas. So we're excited about that. And then lastly, our friends at the Dream Center. Of course, the Dream Center does some amazing things. They provide care and assistance to people who are on the streets of Los Angeles, people who are coming out of prostitution, out of gangs. They do an amazing work. Of course, many of you just returned from a trip to the Los Angeles Dream Center. We're going again next year. We're really excited about that, so we want to partner with them this year. Here's our goal. We want to raise $300,000 by November 30th. That's our goal. Here online at Glenpool, here on this campus, you can help us by contributing toward this. Here's how you can do it. You can give to love your neighbor. If If you want to grab your smartphone right now and give, you can. Just text the word love and then an amount. If you want to think about it, you can give later on during the week. You have until November 30th, but I'm going to ask you at Glenpool, those of you watching online, to pray. Talk to your spouse and say, God, what would you have me to do? How can I contribute? You might say, I'm struggling myself. That's okay. You could give $5. You could give $1. You could give something that makes a difference and impacts people. Because we serve a God who, though he was rich, became poor for our sake. We want to give and be generous to those who are hurting around us, so that no longer will people just say, Church on the Move is a big church, and that's all they know, but that they'll know we're a big church that makes a big difference. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for stirring in us, for breaking our hearts for the people around us, for stirring our hearts for the rest of the world that is hurting. And Lord, I pray that over these next few weeks, you would just continue to stir in us, to work in us, to get us fired up, to reach out and to bless people, to serve our community when it's not convenient. We're going to be busy. We got stuff to do. Lord, thank you that you weren't too busy for us. And I pray, Lord, right now for courage and boldness for those that are struggling to think about, do I want to get out of my comfort zone and connect with the section leader? Do I have the money to give? Can I trust you? I pray, Lord, that you would just help us take that step of faith to trust you like never before. And Lord, I pray for those who have never taken the first step of faith, that is to know you, to make you Lord and Savior. I pray, Lord, that you would find them and bring them into a knowledge of you. It's in Jesus' name. Amen. Hey, maybe you're watching online, maybe you're here in this room, maybe you're out of Glenpool. You have never made Jesus the Lord of your life. Here's how we define that at Church on the Move. We say that a real, authentic relationship with Jesus results in real life change. Maybe you profess to be a Christian before in your life, but it has not meant real life change for you. If that's you, I want to lead you in something that we call the believer's prayer. This is scriptural. In fact, Paul lays it out for us in Romans 10. He said, here's how you profess that you're a Christian. And so I want to lead you in this prayer right now. Those of you here in this room, would you pray with me? You're watching online, you pray with me. You're out of Glenpool. Just repeat after me. Let's all pray together. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for sending Jesus to die in my place. I am a sinner, and I need salvation. I thank you that you died on that cross, and that you rose from the dead, and that you raised me with you. I confess you as Lord. I will follow you for the rest of my life. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Everybody said, amen. Hey, let's give it up for everybody who just prayed that prayer here at Glenpool online. Hey, if you're here at this campus, you're here in this room, you're out in the lobby watching here in this room, you have never prayed that prayer before, or maybe you prayed it for the first time in a long time, and it really meant something for you today. You're making a commitment. I want to invite you to visit our baptism room. It's right over here. You just go out this entrance right here, or really any entrance, make your way around to this side of the building. You'll see our baptism room. The doors are open. There's going to be a lot of people in there, friends, people who want to welcome you into the family of God. But here's the deal. Jesus said that if you're going to follow me, you should be baptized. Baptism is just a way of you saying, my old life is over and my new life has begun. We've got everything that you need to be baptized. People do this every weekend. It's incredible. We've had so many hundreds of people get baptized over the last few months. You could be one of them. And don't let today go by without going in there and just making a declaration saying, you know what, today is my day. I'm following Christ. And here's what I would suggest. Grab someone in your section. Say, hey, I want to get baptized. They will be thrilled to go with you. Your section leader would love nothing more than to go with you and cheer you on. So if that's you at the end of the service, head over to our baptism room. Hey, stand to your feet. Don't miss next week. We're going to continue this, going to keep lighting the fire for our community, for the people around us. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. God bless you guys. You're dismissed.